Welcome to Cardone Debates. This is the second to last day of 2025. We're going to do some predictions with some cool guests. Dustin, how's it going?
What up? I love predictions. So I'll put my Dustin Thomas cap on and give everybody everything they need to full port their entire life savings in the prediction markets. Let's go.
Cool. Let me pull up my bank account. Mark, what's going on?
Hello, everyone. I'll just follow what Dustin's doing. Just tell me what the predictions are. I'll put them in the book, and we'll just follow that trade. But happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, this was Dustin's idea. So apparently, do you do this every year where you make predictions and then like you go back and look and see if any of them were accurate, or do you just like move forward?
Oh, no, I mean, so last year's predictions, I was overly bullish on Bitcoin. I believe I had us at 180. So
okay,
I was right a little underperform on the crypto markets. Politically, I think I was fairly strong. I thought we'd have more arrests. Definitely did not have the number of arrests I was hoping, but I was right about disclosure that we'd be disappointed and that there'd be like a feeling out period. So typically I will give market predictions, political predictions, media predictions, and whatever else we want to predict.
Okay, cool. Mark's disconnected, so it's not looking good for Mark so far. I don't know. His camera's dead. Yeah, we're gonna try to bring him back, but okay. What's up, Mark?
I see what the problem was. I have it. It's coming off instead of my actual camera, it's coming off of my studio display. So I'm like, everything looks off from what I'm used to seeing, but whatever. Okay. Sorry about that, people. Technical difficulty.
Hey, Ace. We have a younger audience as well. So he's going to be our prediction for, some of what's going on with your generation, which is influencing just about everyone right now since you guys are all online like 24/7.
Yeah. And it's actually quite good timing because when you said you're doing a prediction video, we did a video on our channel of all the predictions we've done last year. We were quite accurate and still got some for this year as well. So it just happened to be that our last video on our channel was a predictions video of the year, but also to come as well. So that's good timing.
Okay, so Gary, we're going to try to bring in maybe Gary and his friend later. I'll work on that. But in the meantime, I want to know what you guys all think about your finance predictions for next year. Dustin, I'm really curious what you have to say.
So there's two competing warring sentiments that we have to choose from here, right? Which is the 4-year cyclers who say that we are in for a very bad year. Bloomberg says we're going below 50, boys. And then the 4-year cycle is break. So essentially, the proposition is pretty simple. Bitcoin all-time high breaks the 4-year cycle narrative. So if we break all-time high, then we're breaking through. I'll admit, I was overly bullish on my Bitcoin prediction. I had us at 180 in last year's prediction show. So we underperformed that by a little bit. But I ain't done being bullish, baby. Like we are going in. I will go as far as this. I actually say Q1, we break all-time high, destroying the 4-year cycle narrative. And I'm going to use last year's prediction, say I was off by 1 year, and say 180 plus Bitcoin tops out 2026.
Okay, Q1.
No, Q1 will break all-time high.
I'd like to push back on that.
Did you say tops out, or is that just for tops out for the next year?
No. So Q1 will break all-time high. Let's say 135-ish. And before the end of the year, we'll break 180 at some point.
Okay, interesting.
This,
Yeah.
my understanding is not a very popular perspective. Like, am I wrong about that? I mean, everyone's looking for us to hit a low in
I'm
2020.
gonna take I'll play devil's advocate and take the 4-year cycle psychology. Yeah, right. Let's have some fun with it. Before I go into this, I am long term very, very bullish on Bitcoin. I'm like you know, you can look at my header on X. I'm Bitcoin, and I'm invested in Bitcoin.
Send him the hate anyway.
Send me, yeah, go ahead, send it to me. But I will say this, because when I had Gary on and we went through this chart, and I don't know if you could share the chart that I have with you or not. And I know the TA is astrology for men, so that's all well and good too. But when I showed this chart to Gary, I don't know if you could see the pointer. Like, I came in, like, Gary and I had a podcast episode together, like in September, I think. So it was around this area that Gary and I talked about what could come next. And Gary saw it before I even said anything. He's like, that looks like a broken chart. Like, he saw that it started to look like it was topping out here based on this longer term pattern. So you can see I did not move any of these lines. This is how it's played out since Gary and I had our conversation. So if you don't buy into charts, I totally get it, because I think from the fundamentals end of it, there's a lot of liquidity coming into the market. We don't use the term quantitative easing, but there is some form of quantitative easing that's about to happen. So fundamentally, I'm with Dustin in terms of fundamentally, we should be having a breakout. But from a technical analysis standpoint, you could see we didn't hear it. In fact, actually, now the chart looks better for a breakout in Q1 that I'm looking at it. I haven't looked at this chart actually probably since I talked to Gary. Let's play it out together so you see it in real time. So, like, it touched up here. That was the January high, broke down. We touched up again. We hit a couple times. We were testing this upper limit here in the 125, 126 area. And then it completely broke down to this support level here. And now it's forming like this wedge pattern. And typically, it's funny because the odds are not favorable. But looking at this chart now, I could see it reversing back up. Like, if it plays, I took devil's advocate, but now that I'm looking at the chart, I could put a technical spin on this, because from this chart, I could see it wouldn't be unusual to go into a high in the first quarter. That would be like a huge, we would have to see some major green candles for that to happen. It's hard for me to imagine from a technical standpoint. But you can see what happened here.
Where have we seen some gigantic green candles lately?
Like here. Like, I mean, you just see them.
No.
You see them in these
Gold, silver, metals.
Just metals, right? And then stock. Bitcoin is dramatically underperforming the other risk-on sectors right now.
Right.
Which leads me to believe that rotation is coming.
Right. I agree with you on that. And I wonder when that rotation is coming, because I think there still seems to be a bullish narrative towards gold and silver. And I don't know. I think it's now just starting to hit the retail mania. And so I wonder if maybe we have a little bit of a continued run in that. It's hard to imagine retail moving the market at this point, but I could see maybe like a retail push. And then at some point, Dustin, would you say in Q1, you think that's going to happen? Like Q1, we're going to see the rotation?
Maybe rotation is the wrong word, but right. When I look at the asset classes that particularly people buy when there is other uncertainties, right? I see this being the dramatic lag asset to be for money to be flowing into. To me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Second, right, the other thing, when I look at the formation of the chart that you have up, the other issue, there's not a lot below us as far as if we break this level that we've been ranging in, which seems like forever, but when you look at it, it's like, well, we have a warped concept of time. But the next form lower takes us down, what, under 70, 68-ish would be the next logical
Right.
downside.
Right.
That's a long way to come down with the kind of liquidity that's been flowing in. And so, like, the reason that I think Q1, I think that we've got maybe a little more range time in this tight low range. Maybe we see a descending wedge, that we kind of see the start of that formation here. But I also, and we'll get into political predictions as well, this is a midterm year. And the crypto president is going to do things that boost the market in order to enhance the Republicans' chances of holding the House and winning, right, maintaining the Senate. And so my prediction would be that the combination of the announcement of the new Fed chair, which Trump has hinted maybe probably is going to be in January, but is certainly coming Q1. I think that will be taken as a very bullish catalyst for us to rock it up, right? Like, there's no doubt in my mind that we're going to get a very bullish crypto Fed chairman, somebody who's very eager to advance. I also think there's going to be several other announcements about the government policies that we did not get last year, which is kind of surprising. And I expect most of that to roll out in Q1 and be taken as kind of the catalyst that send us up a level.
Yeah, I agree with that. And now it's wild. I was looking at this. I seriously did not do. I did not do the technical analysis before I came on here, and I just had the visual in my head from where we were at, and I had that 4-year cycle psychology going into this. So I'm thinking, all right, we're on a downward trending chart. It's psychologically we're in a bad place. But going back to the fundamentals, and I agree with everything Dustin just said, and now looking at the chart and putting that with what Dustin said, I just got very bullish. Like I feel that you really, like, I'm looking at it and I was like, wow, I could really see those big green candles in January. So
I also, like I said, I think we ripped the Band-Aid off the past. But I'm curious because I see Ace like taking notes.
Yeah, I was checking I was using Perplexity to check some of the stuff I was about to say, but I was going to play even more devil's advocate, not because I don't think Bitcoin will make new time highs. I totally agree with your point about the lagging commodity play. I mean, we were talking about gold on our channel before its move, and then kind of missed a lot of the move I'd like to have taken in that. So then was going to silver, palladium, platinum. So I agree with the mindset there. Although, I mean, I did also make a video on Bitcoin crashing 123K, and that did prove to be correct. I see it kind of, if it doesn't hold here, it might go down to the 50-week moving average at 50K, but I don't think it will go lower. And my main prediction is probably that it will trade sideways rather than. But you won't. This is still a good time to buy. Basically, I think it will trade sideways. It will still be a safe time to invest. But I'm not as well. I'm making a prediction that breaks the 4-year cycle and breaks your prediction as well. So I'm totally on a different wavelength to everyone else. But yeah, I think this level's a good level to buy, as well as if we get back to that 50-week 200, which is about 50, in line with those sort of wicks lows in August of 24. That would be like put everything on it sort of thing. I wouldn't. Maybe you wouldn't have the balls to do it then and there, but. It's I think that's probably what I'm looking at. I'm also a massive fan of privacy coins, and I feel like maybe Bitcoin isn't as private as something like Monero or anything like that. But yeah, that's still a great asset to have. Still a hedge, and still looking for the days when it sort of follows. Looking forward to the days it follows more commodities rather than maybe the NASDAQ or whatever, which definitely looking forward to those days, definitely.
I mean, I also, so A16Z put out there 2026, I predicted privacy in crypto was top of the list.
Mm-hmm.
My conversations with many different players. Privacy is obviously a feature that is coming, right? So I'm curious. Monero is probably the most obvious choice. They
Most
face,
well known, yeah, that's basically it. Yeah,
but they did face right the
delistings in
the validator attack, right?
Yeah,
Right, but seemed to have fended off. I like Zcash as another privacy play that is starting. Like we're starting to see integration in some of the other chains. They're very bullish on privacy and privacy
100%.
chains, like going forward. There's a couple of other like side plays too to privacy that I think make sense, but that also will be very dependent on some of the regulatory stuff that comes. That would be the other thing. Do we get the Genius Act or the Clarity Act? I can't remember which one's up, but do we also get that as a catalyst Q1 that everybody was expecting Q4 this year? So,
Good point.
Have you ever not been super bullish? Like Dustin, when have you been bearish?
probably never.
To be honest, you can't really go wrong, can you? If you're always bullish.
Yeah, but it pays to be.
Yeah.
I have this feeling that like Dustin lives in his world of like it just pays to be a bull.
Well, I'll say this: I have, as a trader, I often go short. I did.
Okay, I didn't know that.
You know, I did incredibly well. I started building my short position at 110.
Okay.
Right with, and rode that down very, very nicely, especially in the alt. Right, so like, I never short Bitcoin, but because if Bitcoin's going to come back, Sol and Ethereum are going to come back much harder. It's just the way of the markets now. So I definitely take the reverse position. I'm not so I will say in my ridiculous meme coins, I am famous for top blasting. In fact, it's one of my favorite things in the world. I mean, obviously, I'm crazy bullish on Look, right? I did secure the partnership with Alo, and right, so like a digital ecosystem with more than 500 million daily active users, and building the integration for micro tipping and all of the other cool integrations we're doing. So, right, there's a lot to be really, really bullish and excited about. But when I look at the charts, I always saw this as a temporary pullback. I think that there is a ridiculous amount of support at the previous cycle's top out, was right around 68, 69. And I think we've had several things with the inflow of capital from the ETFs and the manipulation, maybe the wrong word, but right, the influx of cash from Master and the other DATs that just is going to raise that baseline floor for this cycle. And I think we've got one super giga kick left in us, which, like I said, I believe takes us to 180, 190, and maybe we blow off top and even go past that. So, and then we have a big retracement, basically come back all the way down to this level. But I think that's post election, so that's more 2027 than 2026.
Okay, so you think now is a good time to be buying, regardless.
It's a no-brainer, and I'm not saying that we might. I think it's very possible we wick down from here, right? And maybe even, but I can't imagine that we don't hit that previous cycle support level at 68, 69 and bounce off. And so if you're buying, unless you're hoping to catch the very short window where it comes down for maybe on a 4-hour candle, then it's a great place to hold. The odds that you're not going to have a chance to cash out at a profit, I think, are ridiculously low.
Is it true that they're... Go ahead, Ace.
Do you think it could be kind of because obviously you're saying 60, 7 to 68, where it sort of was the high of the previous cycle. Could you not argue it's kind of in the low of the sideways consolidation of that cycle at the top, as well as the 200 week plus the lows that we had in August. Because I would say there's a line you can draw across there that obviously it might, if it doesn't come down to there and you're not actually buying, then you will miss the whole thing if it doesn't get down to there. But I think my absolute be all and end all for the last time to buy would be around that zone as well, 50. Yeah. But my question to you is, did you ever dream or think that would be the case, or did you say that they could get down to those levels again, say a year ago, I guess? Or would you say that's now looking at the technicals with the view of 180 as the high this year?
Yeah, so I thought that we would. I've had that 68, 69 number pegged as my this cycle bottom before we come up significantly, and we don't break that until we have a lot of momentum down from the big high, which I put around 180.
It's a fair point. If you're working on percentages, that's a very good point. You have to think, okay, every retracement from each high, you'd have to do a lot to do it in this single move exactly now.
I mean, we'd have to have a negative, in my opinion, there'd have to be an unforeseen negative catalyst. And it doesn't feel like we've had much of that for this downturn. And I also don't, but you never foresee those things. But I do see several potential very bullish catalysts that I think push us upward in early Q1. And I think we're just, when I look at gold, I look at silver, I look at the stock market, and I look at us lagging behind, to me, that's tinder that's just waiting for a spark. And once we get that spark, I think people race to come back in, because this is a steal right now.
Now, I have a question for you, Dustin. Do you are you familiar with Ron Paul's theory that the 4-year cycle is being extended to a 5-year cycle? Because that would kind of play into the narrative. If you don't buy into the cycles, you don't buy into the cycles. But if you do buy into the cycles, that would play into a narrative for that would support what you're talking about, support the fundamentals. And then actually it really supports what you're talking about, because we would hit like a 180, for example, blow off top. And then, man, that would shake a lot of people, I think, especially if they're getting in at like 120, 130 and they don't know what they own. That'll be very interesting.
Yeah, no, and we listen, I'm definitely more, so I have good technical analysis, right? But I'm better on psychology and feel. And we have not had irrational exuberance or anything close to it this cycle. And right, that there hasn't been the moment where it's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Grant, get on here, bro. I'm trying to
Grant, I know.
Grant is
we would love you.
being a bullish catalyst.
He needs to know where the price is going. He wants to know. Tell me where the price is going.
One thing I will say, one of the reasons I made a Bitcoin trading sideways and crashing video at 123K was because the amount of people on Twitter saying that this thing was going to 1 million at that point was just wait. That was where I was using your sentiment point. And plus, I think there were a lot of institutions in, and after institutions, what's kind of next. But equally, I agree with you. We haven't had the total kind of capitulation feeling that has been the case in other cycles as well. So. Yeah, it's not a be all end all. Yeah.
I also, so to take it just past Bitcoin, right? I don't think we're ever going to see an alt season like we've seen in the past. Last cycle, I could put a blindfold on, I could spin around, I could throw a dart at some kind of coin, and 10x that mofo. We're never going back to that. Which is, I think that there's really 4 or 5 players that are consistent and aren't going anywhere. I'm very bullish on Solana. I think Ethereum is going to continue to do well. I think BNB is probably the best performing crypto asset over the last 3-4 years. Go actually look at the overall gains, and I still like Tron. I still think Tron continues to perform well and do well. So I'm very bullish on all of those plays. Add some of the privacy coins, Zcash, Monero, other things. But I think that a lot of chains and a lot of the L2s, specifically like the EVMs, not going to do well. Like we're due to see some of these go to absolute zero.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I also agree. I said earlier, I agree with your commodity angle on BTC. But you might argue that there's a privacy element to physical commodities like oil, natural gas, palladium, gold, silver, all of these, and maybe that's why they're moving first. Or maybe that's why I would argue maybe someone thinking that they're waiting for that lagging indicator. One of the reasons why maybe it doesn't happen is just purely because it's not something that people can maybe feel is as private as a privacy coin or a commodity that they can physically own ownership of. But yeah, it's still the blockchain, and everyone loves the blockchain. So.
Yeah, so I also on the commodities like gold, silver, I see those as a canary in the coal mine for danger in the paper markets, which I also think the exit is to something like Bitcoin with the fixed supply and all of the different things that we love about Bitcoin. Bitcoin offers people a way to quickly flee a troubled dollar. And I think we're going to see, like, as far as predictions go, there's going to be disruption in the market with dollars. Like, right, we've had this huge inflation period. We're transitioning from quantitative tightening towards, they don't want to say quantitative easing, but the money printer going burr again, right? At a minimum, we're going to replace Powell with somebody who wants to print money and make things go fast again. That comes at, there is a cost as far as value of the dollar. And I know we're going to try to stabilize that with the increase in treasuries bought from stablecoin issuance. I think we're going to see probably, actually, here's a prediction. We'll see $1 trillion in stablecoins minted in the coming year.
Wow.
So that's going to be another one of my big predictions.
Stable, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah,
$1
definitely.
trillion in new stablecoin minting in the coming year, which is crazy to think about.
Do you think that'll be because of governments getting involved, and then people will slowly think, actually, do I really want to be so close to governments, and then they'll move back towards proper privacy coins? That would be my view of it. But in the meantime, ride that wave. I totally agree with that.
Well, so I think, well, it's funny. I have to be somewhat cautious because I do consult with several government.
What's up, Grant?
There he
Thanks
is.
for joining us. You're on mute. You have to turn the. Okay. Oh no, we still can't hear you. I think maybe it's a Bluetooth issue, or maybe if the mic is plugged in.
So.
Not yet. We'll tell you when we can hear you. Yeah,
So-
it sounds. I thought that might be the case. It sounds like you. Yeah, I won't say what I think, but yeah.
Well, so I'm consulting with several governments specifically around stablecoin issuance and adoption that way. So I think that we'll have dozens of nations that will participate in the issuance of stablecoins that, right, will be very, very interesting on the what's allowed commodity-wise to back those. Right. So right now, a lot of the people who have charters and mint ability are reaching their caps based on those charters. So, right, we're going to see some interesting things. We'll
Okay, testing.
How's that?
There
Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go.
all right.
Good. I have to do it twice. Anytime I come through Microsoft, I have to do it twice. Or maybe it's just my life. I somehow make everything more difficult. Everything's hard for me.
Grant, Dana was accusing me of always being bullish earlier. I'd say if there's anyone who's always more bullish than me, it's got to be Grant, right?
No, dude, I'm not. Wait, what are you talking about, dude? I'm the most skeptical, conservative, scared investor there is.
Well, I remember your video when during the 2008 crisis, you said like, well, if I was just, what did you say? If I was $500 million, no, you were $500 million
No,
in
no,
debt.
no. I had 50 million in debt, and the bank called it. It was a bank, a regional bank, and the regional bank went under. Actually, the guy that owned the regional bank offered to fund $275 million to the bank, and the federal government turned it down and said, nah, we're just going to give the bank to a group out of Minneapolis. The government actually gave them $700 million rather than taking 275 from the owner, collapsed the bank, and then the new bank came in and said, hey, we want you to pay the loans off. And I'm like, yeah, who's going to do that? Nobody's got $50 million right now. And what I learned there, the point was, Dana, that you're making is that if I'd owed 500 million or 5 billion, they wouldn't have done that to me. So that's the day.
And you're the bank at that
That's the day I decided to get big.
And that's when you wrote the 10X book.
Yeah, that's when I wrote the 10X rule. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Okay, that's cool.
I heard somebody saying something was going to 10X right before I got in here. I'm like, hey, that's a trademark, bro.
So Grant, like, we can start with your area of most expertise. Like,
yeah,
I saw you post something the other day that rang incredibly true to me, which is people sitting on the sidelines waiting to buy homes, expecting that the housing market's coming down. Numbers just don't play out, and I thought you made that case brilliantly. How do you see the real estate market coming?
So there's different parts of the real estate market, right? You have single family homes that, I forget what the numbers are exactly, but 40% or maybe half are either paid off or let me just see the actual number, either paid off or they're under 4% interest, and those loans are 30 years. So if you're waiting for that to happen, like you're going to be waiting 25 years. 40% of all U.S. homes are paid off. 40% have no debt at all. 55% have a rate below 4%. So literally over half of all homes have a rate below 4%. These are 30-year loans. These are not 3-year adjustables. And look, a lot of these people want to sell homes. So what you're seeing right now with single family homes in the media is a lot of headlines. Like I saw one today. It's basically content without context. And it said that, Miami homes are crashing. I'm like, bro, ain't no homes crashing in Miami. People just don't sell them. So anyway, the point of the single family homes is there's no crash happening in single family homes. It doesn't mean you can't go out and get a great deal on a home. If you could find a seller that's tired and wants to get out, you would ask them to do owner financing. Don't ask for a lower price, ask for a lower rate. So if you go to that guy and say, look, I'll buy your house from you. I either want to assume your debt, and you just do that on the side, completely legal. Or you say, hey, I'll buy your house for your price. I want 3% interest because it's coming, as you stated earlier. Now, the other places, the data centers, I think we see a big correction in data centers. I would not invest any money in any of them. Multifamily, there's already a massive apartments that we focus on, that we buy. We own 14,000 apartments. Those already are correcting to the like 30%. So if a deal was 50 million, you're buying that deal today for 40, 10 million below replacement cost. By the way, you can't build it for that. So those deals are already out there. Just unfortunately, most Americans don't look at that. They look at single family homes.
I agree about the data centers, right? The hardware is not keeping up. The price of RAM has gone through the roof. I mean, I had one of my kids do a computer build, right? She's in high school. The $3,000 computer build is worth like $15,000 here a year later. Like we're seeing some insane numbers as a result of like this overwhelming federal push for data centers. I agree with you. That's a dangerous.
I also think Trump's going to come out with a tremendous mandate to build homes next year. He's in the perfect position. You know, I sent them this and said, you're in a perfect position to pass a federal mandated tax incentives for whoever builds the fastest. Remove the permit process. That's the problem. Okay. The problem is the tariffs have nothing on this. Okay. Like the problem is the regulation, the amount of time, the permit process. So this would be a massive play. It'd be a complete monopoly play for Trump to say all 50 states, we will give you massive tax incentives to build at scale 3 million homes in 2026. I mean, like more than we've ever done. Go do something like crazy.
Uh-oh, lost you.
It's getting good.
No, I don't know. That was weird. We just lost your audio. We'll tell you when we can hear you again, but maybe rejoin again. It's so weird that it does that automatically. It's like censoring him.
It's
Getting
interesting.
wrapped up too.
What did you say?
I love getting Grant's takes on the real estate market broadly, but also like how Trump's going to, right? Again, we're coming into the midterms. It's critical for him to do everything he can to get everything going as fast as it can go. And so I think it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
You're back.
So yeah, what I was saying was, I think Trump's going to say, hey, we're going to do major tax incentives. You guys go at it as fast as you want. Okay. Well, the blue states are not going to support it, no matter what. I mean, no. If he wanted to push a mandate for Democrats, whatever policy they want to complete transgender everybody and the government pay for, they'll block everything he wants to do right now. So what would happen is the red states would consume the incentive money. The blue states would be left behind. Texas and Florida will they'll eat it up. They'll just be like, let's build, remove all the regulation, remove the permits, build at scale as fast as possible. And that's really what needs to happen with housing. For housing to come down, two things have to happen. Interest rates will have to lower. If interest rates lower, Dustin, I believe prices would actually come down, not go up for about somewhere between 9 and 15 months. Prices would collapse, literally have an urgency to drop, because the guy that's at 2.8 right now, or 3% or 4%, he wants to move to a bigger or nicer home in a different location. And he'd be like, okay, I'll discount my house 20,000 or 300,000, whatever the number is. I'll discount it because I want to go grab that other house that I actually want, because it would immediately drive supply and demand. We have the demand, we just don't have the supply. Supply would drop pricing. It wouldn't last forever, okay? Because low rates would actually, in the next 15 months, the rest of America is going to get on board and say, fuck, I'm going to go buy a house too. And then somewhere in that 9 to 12 month, things will start inflating again. At least housing will.
I think that makes sense. So many people are trapped where they're at because the difference.
Their debt's an asset.
Yeah, 100%. What else do you see coming this year, Grant? Like you're still being very bullish on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean,
we're going 180 plus.
Yeah, Grant's prediction for
Everybody else.
2026 is he's launching the biggest real estate Bitcoin company, right?
Well, I'm gonna the REIT industry. This is not just a Bitcoin play; it is a Bitcoin play, but it's because the REIT industry is 65 years old. They control $4 trillion worth of business. I mean, if you want to get really wealthy, you have to go do something. You have to do something that other people can't do. You have to find a bit of a monopoly, if you will. And the REIT industry cannot hold any currency on their books. They have to distribute 90% of their cash flow. I hate it when you guys put the whole thing on me.
You hate that?
It's just too much. So the REIT industry can never, no matter how big these are the biggest players in the world: Avalon, Camden, Graystar. These guys own 150,000 units. They're massive. Starwood, 140,000 units. Cortland, 180,000 units. These are massive companies. They can never hold Bitcoin. So now, so if I go in and say, hey, I'm a Bitcoin real estate company or real estate Bitcoin hybrid, we don't make distributions. We distribute cash and then reinvest in Bitcoin. I'm going to take returns that are 12% to 30%. We're going to build two assets, not one. I'll always have liquidity. This is the biggest problem with the REITs is they can't ever sell any of their assets because real estate's very slow to sell, very sluggish and heavy. And if I get 5% of a $4 trillion business, I mean, do the math, dude. Like I've become a big boy finally.
Finally.
And this pullback in Bitcoin is good for me. I mean, the damage that the Bitcoin treasuries is having is actually good for me because anybody that was trying to copy, we've done 5 of these. We did 5 of these this year. And we funded the largest real estate Bitcoin deal ever done. And 4 other deals completely funded, put away, investors in them. They're happy. They've seen the pullback, by the way. I got 1,500 people onboarded into a Bitcoin purchase that owned no Bitcoin before this. And when the Bitcoin pulled back from 126 to 80 or whatever, the low, not one person out of 1,500 called and said, what's going on? What's happening? What are we doing? Not one person. And there's a bunch of Bitcoiners, bro, that are getting weak hands right now.
Yeah. I like how you combined. I think that's genius. The combination of the real estate with Bitcoin.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it gives me a way to compete against these giants that have controlled real estate for 65 years. You're talking about 6 decades. Okay. 6 decades. My entire life, one group has controlled most of the great real estate in America, which is that cash producing, income producing real estate. Blackstone's a big REIT. They won't be able to hold Bitcoin. Now they're going to go the other place. They're going to go play in the other arenas, but we just think it's a great advantage in the marketplace to disrupt that industry.
Yeah, I think
so instead of leveraged plays, which obviously we've seen with MicroStrategy, you're kind of saying, okay, real asset classes, then getting income from those, and then buying Bitcoin. It's interesting you say that because I was just speaking to a natural gas company in the UK who are going to be the first in Europe and the UK to do exactly that. They actually launching a token in January, so hopefully that goes well. But that's it's very, very good point. BTC mining and treasury. Using the value that's produced by those mines. So yeah.
And the cool thing is, when you're trying to tell somebody to buy Bitcoin, they can't see it, they can't touch it. The Bitcoin community does a terrible job of communicating it, what it actually is to people, because it's you can't see it, right? It's like talking to me about a light bulb before there was light. And or telling me my iPhone was going to communicate with people, it was the bizarre, or telling somebody a car when I've spent 40 years on a horse. So when we start showing people these Bitcoin, these real estate transactions, these are massive, institutional quality, best in class, great locations. Oh shit, I want to live there. They're looking at the real estate and they're getting the Bitcoin. So we're not having to onboard people. I'm not having to orange pill people. I'm not having to educate. I'm having to say, look, we got a lottery ticket with the apartment deal. And the lottery ticket is Bitcoin. And it could go down to 0, or it could go to the moon, or it could do nothing. I don't know, but at least we got a lottery ticket with our real estate. And our real estate still cash flows. We take the real estate. We have to find a piece of real estate. The hack is you got to find a piece of real estate that's below replacement costs. And then you just fill up the difference between what you paid and the replacement cost to rebuild that product with Bitcoin. It drops the cash flow a little bit, but at least you have positive cash flow. You have a real business day one. We're not building. We're not doing building. We're doing walk-in cash flow day one. And we own Bitcoin for virtually, hopefully, at some point free.
That's awesome. I think as a hurdle psychologically with Bitcoin as an investment is the cash flow aspect of it. Like Bitcoin doesn't cash flow. You have the growth component, which is, attractive to, which is why people would be attracted to the asset. But the cash flow ability, which when you combine the real estate, then you have that cash flow aspect with the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That's why I think it solves I'm cautious when I say this because it is the Bitcoin space is like the revolutionary end of it is respectable, and there's something to be said for it. But that's not what that's not what's going to increase adoption, and that's not what's going to get people in the door. So I think just having, if you're an investor and you're like, what is this Bitcoin? Should I put my money in Bitcoin? Yeah, it's going to go up, but I like cash flow. Then like Grant's offering you a product. You're like, oh, you thinking about Bitcoin? And you need the cash flow. Here you go. So
the exposure to upside is such a no-brainer. So
can I just say one thing? I'm sorry, Dustin. But the first deal that we did was January this year, 11 months ago. And we offered our investors, check a box. Do you want cash distributions to your house, or do you want the cash converted to buy more Bitcoin? 90% check the Bitcoin box.
Interesting.
You've got smart investors.
Yeah.
Well, that tells me.
I get excited about, I feel like I can say this because you're teasing it and like publicly stating that you want to launch next year. You want to launch, you want to IPO. Like whether you want to. Yeah,
I have every intention of being a public company sometime in 2026. And I'm telling my audience now, I'm going to either go to Cantor and get the money, or APG, or JP Morgan. They're all going to give me the money because they want the fees. But I can save 7%, and so can the projects if I just go to my audience. So for my brother, my sister, and then 20 million followers online, I'm just going to go. They've already given me $2 billion. The $2 billion I could have got from Blackstone. I could have done 10% of it. Here's 200 million. Give me $2 billion. They would have done that. That's what they do every day. But I didn't want to do business with them because they put a gun to my head and tell me how to operate the project, tell me when to sell it, tell me what to do with it. They are in control. So instead, I just flipped the model, didn't go to them, went to my audience and said, you guys want to fund these deals? I buy them on my balance sheet. And then I say, hey, if you want to come in, Dana, come in. Here it is. This is what it's going to do. These are the terms. So we save 7% by not going to the banks. But more importantly, because that 7% that all these treasury companies that NACA spent a couple $100 million in bullshit fees that no one will ever get that back. That is just wasted money to the investor. I mean, if it all works out, it doesn't matter. But in most cases, those bank fees are lost. There's no value added to the project, right? So by going straight to an audience and them investing in this before we go public, that audience comes in before the pipe, before the ATM. They're buying the real estate at the same price that I bought it at. They know exactly what I'm doing. We do a Zoom call once a month with our investors, with 20,000 investors that get to ask me questions. Like, we don't hide from them. They're good people, but it's America's winning now, not just American banks.
I love that. I'm with you. I wish people should be allowed to invest their money wherever the hell they want. We should tear down this accredited investor nonsense. I'd love to see that go in 2026. It
is so wrong. Okay, this accredited, non-accredited, everybody watching this, you should write your congressman today and say, end this now. Okay, the SEC is not trying to protect the investor. And any of these financial guys in here say, oh yeah, we got to have regulation. No, you do not. I don't have regulation for tattoos. I don't have regulations for Gucci's. I don't have regulations to walk in a casino and spend my last $1,500. I can go to a strip joint and spend my last $1,000. And you guys know people are doing that shit all the time. Okay. They go spend their last $700 to buy a bullshit car. Okay. The SEC should have nothing to do with what Americans invest their money in. Nothing. Zero. There should be no minimum.
Can you imagine the boom it would create? if we just allowed people to invest their money into
Yeah, and
companies and
people-
into businesses.
Yeah,
again.
and exactly. The SEC should not be involved in this at all, because what it's doing, like we looked. This was the first year that we actually investigated going public. The cost to go public is about somewhere between $15 and $60 million. So imagine you're a $10 million company. How are you going to spend 15 million of your 10 million to go public? You're not. And this is the trap. So Google gets it all. Facebook gets to buy it all up. Like the big giants, which I get, man. You want a monopoly? I understand. I get it. Like I'm not hating on those guys.
Is that on the NYSE or NASDAQ? Because I thought NASDAQ was a couple $100K, but that must be on what IPO, what market is that?
No. You can't go public for a couple $100K, bro. You're not going to have a lawyer talk to you for a couple of $100K.
Yeah. One of the things we look at though is companies trading below their cash. So basically just shells, and then look at those. But they're normally on tiny exchanges. So
So you're gonna go jump into somebody else's vehicle.
Yeah, which is messy. Yeah.
Could be, but maybe you find something clean. Like there's probably a bunch of these treasuries out of the 180 of them are failures.
Yeah.
There's probably some of those guys that are chairmen or CEOs right now wish they weren't, and they'd be better off just saying, "Here, Grant, take it, rename it,
Yeah.
Get me out of this and get me back. If you just get me and my investors back to where we were, I'd be tickled to death, because you got a bunch of failures."
Should.
That's awesome.
There'll be some.
Yeah, they should.
Oh, go ahead, Dana.
Have you reached out to any of them? I'm just curious if you've like talked to any of them.
I'm saying it here, right? I've posted it a couple of times on X saying, "Hey, I'm looking to buy a REIT," because again, the REITs are going to fail too. Okay, there's 190 REITs in this country. At least half of them are headed for extinction. I mean, this is a fact. This is not hyperbole. Like, you probably only really need 10, maybe 15 to 20 REITs in America. The rest of them should go away. That's 170 that should go from public to private. They're too small, or they're too big, or they're too sloppy, or if you're too small, you end up. I know one REIT that's got their board, the salaries to the board are more than the income to the REIT.
That's insane.
It's wild.
Insane.
I think there is opportunity. So we're doing the prediction space, and we kind of touched on. I want to get to some political predictions because I have some very interesting political predictions. Right. Obviously, that's like most of my career was spent in politics. I've run dozens of campaigns, members of the House, members of the Senate, presidential campaigns, top to bottom. I think we're going to see some very interesting things that break traditional molds. One of those things will not be, though, Republicans are going to get creamed in federal elections. Members of Congress, like the Republican members of Congress, have delivered bupkis. And Speaker Micro Johnson and the crew are fixing for a beating. So my prediction is I'm going to go big. 40 Republicans are going to lose 40 seats in the House of Representatives. And they probably deserve it. And I hate that for what it means for President Trump. But without them putting something together, an agenda that you vote for instead of just existing being Democrats, I just don't see them winning. It's not all bleak news, though, which is I will. My prediction is we watch a similar bloodbath. I don't know what happened with Grant. He'll be back.
I think we're making dinner.
In governor's elections, Democrats are going to get throttled, and we're going to see like Tim Walz is like we'll see a Republican governor. We'll see a Republican governor in Minnesota. We'll see very different Ohio. I think even California, we will see the Democrats start slowly losing their grasp on state level power. But I don't think the Congress has done anything for them to hold federally. So I think we're gonna have this weird where federally Republicans lose a lot of seats and Democrats try to come out and sound a little less insane, but get absolutely railroaded in the governor's elections all over the country. So it's kind of my political prediction. I think the Republicans will hold the Senate, lose big in the House, and I'll go one further. I don't think they impeach Trump, though. I don't think it makes political sense for them at this late stage to do anything to impeach Trump.
You're muted.
I think an assassination is more likely than an impeachment.
100%.
Yeah.
But I think by March of this year, Trump is going to rain money on the U.S. economy. He's going to rain, dude. He's going to be like, he'll pull every stop to make sure that he can say he did something for the economy, which could extend this S&P 500 nonsense.
So I'm with you on that. I think Trump is going overboard in the cover, and I think it starts in Q1 with picking of the Fed chair, the quantitative easing, right? Money printer go burr, but also I think lots of incentive laden stuff. Your real estate idea, I would not be surprised at all. We saw the home buyer thing. I think he's going to just throw gasoline on every aspect of the economy. Anything that they can do to make it go faster and things to be better, I expect him to come in, which is why I'm so bullish on like Bitcoin, the financial markets more broadly. Like this is not the year where we're going to contract. I don't see it coming anyway. Trump's too good at making sure that he's playing it. This is really, minus the talk of ignoring the Constitution and running a third time. This is really like the last Trump election. He's going to play it, right? He's going all in on it. There's no doubt about it. So, but how that plays out politically, I don't think the Congress, I don't think the members of the House get the benefit of, they'll try to take credit. I just don't see them having done enough to earn that at all. I think we'll see arrests ramp up too. I think all of us who've been complaining for the last year, nobody's getting. I think we'll see some arrests. I think you'll see some pushback on the Smalley thing. I think he knows politically he cannot survive going this year without some high profile arrests. So I think we finally get that in the coming year too. But that was one of my predictions last year. I got wrong. So
I came into this very 50-50 because I was looking at the chart and I was looking at the technicals, even though I strongly agree with the fundamentals. And now after processing all this information, I couldn't be more bullish about 2026 because I see the narrative forming of the five, it even fits. I came in as a cycle theorist, this 4-year cycle theory. And I could see Raoul Paul's 5-year cycle extension, which fits into the broader narrative of the midterm elections and this concept. And Grant said it too, more nonsense in the S&P 500. We know we're at ridiculous levels. So when you think about that, you think, how is this thing going to go up anymore? Why would this thing go up anymore? But it's going to go up for the fundamental reasons that you just said, which now this is going to be more interesting in 2027, because that's now we're going 2026, 2027. It's going to be very interesting, because then I could see kind of what we were talking about earlier, Dustin, where you kind of see that blow off top for a temporary correction to wherever it is. It could correct to higher than where it is now. So, even if that part's true, it's not the end of the world. But it's interesting to, in terms of strategizing going into 2026, you build a strong case.
I also, if there's going to be a period of pain, that if you look at the cycles, 4 years is also happens to be the presidential election cycle, right? And we're coming into those last 2 years, the Trump lame duck years, where he doesn't have to face re-election. And if you wanted to have big transitions that were going to be troubling and dark, you do it in 27 and 28, right? As new people come in and compete, We saw it with Obama, McCain, right? Which is the end of the Bush years was when we had the collapse. They always do that at the end of kind of these political dynasty cycles as well, which is why I always do the predictions, financial markets and politics. I don't think you can pull the two apart, which is the politicians manipulate the cycles based on like their political expediency. There's no doubt about it. Ace, I'm curious what you think politically. I'll say one other bullish thing.
Audience thinks you're hot, by the way, Ace.
I was looking at some of those. I don't particularly think that, but I think they're trapping me. But yeah, no,
Couple
This
guys
is a good one.
really hot.
Are you drawing smiley faces?
no, I was
everyone-
writing some notes because I'm particularly interested about the pipe stuff that you talk about, because that's exactly what we kind of do on my channel. Is we look at companies trading below their asset value and then either hostily try to take them over, and if not, you fail, but they go up anyway. But then there are also shell opportunities for people who want IPO opportunities. So could potentially help if you gave criteria for that. Could probably help you try and find a shell on the NASDAQ. I've got a couple of people looking for the same at the moment. But that's totally back to the politics. We obviously wanted Trump to win. Glad he won. We did a video on you said you made some political predictions at the beginning of last year, and we said that sadly the Trump Elon saga and Doge wasn't going to last, and that didn't last. Sadly, obviously Elon left, but that was kind of our only prediction that we made on the prediction. But it was it was a correct prediction. So yeah, I'm not too sure about this year, but seems like you guys have got it sorted.
Elon will be back.
Yeah.
Grant, weren't you on a water fast? I just realized. Did you just break your water fast?
Yeah, I did. I just I've been 5 days. I did.
Good.
So
You did 5. I've done 7 days, and that's my max. And
Yeah,
then
I
I start to think I'm dying.
Why a water fast? Why water?
Why, you mean like dry instead?
Oh,
Well, no,
what is?
Grant,
Oh,
the-
water fast mean you're not drinking alcohol, or does it mean you're?
no,
like,
it means you're not a fast.
I
wanna be
know what a
raised-
fast is, but
raised-
why would you fast water? Like water's a necessity.
Well, yeah, no.
No. Water fast means you're
With
fast.
water only.
You're only-
you
you're only-
drink water.
You're only
Not-
using
you don't-
water, green tea, coffee,
Yeah.
no milk, no food.
How do
Oh,
you
I didn't know
feel?
green tea.
I feel great. The 4.5 days, my body really wanted food at that point. And so, yeah, it was great. I mean, the third day, dude, I was back to feeling like I was 30 years old again with create and possibility. And like, it's been awesome. I did one about 4 weeks ago because my sister's got a cancer and I encouraged her to do it for 3 days. Said, you do it, I'll do it with you. I'd never done one. And
Sorry
then,
to hear about that.
yeah. And then I said, hey, I wonder if I could go 120 hours. So what's the difference? But anyway.
Fasting supercharges prayers too.
Yeah, it felt like a spiritual adventure, actually.
Yeah, the more people fasting would be an incredible thing. So I think we finally see an end to Ukraine, Russia. I think we're going to come to a resolution on that. That's
Great.
a potential bullish catalyst in the near term. I'm not sure. I think politically, maybe I'm in the bubble that I don't see Trump allowing the Venezuela thing to overescalate. I think he goes in to handle those things early in the year, and we go into Q2, Q3 fairly peaceful around the world. What do you guys think?
He's done a good job so far, obviously, other than obviously he made that promise, and sadly it's been much harder because of I would argue both sides, but I think you're right. I think that does come to a conclusion. But I also feel like, if we're being totally honest, I think that's kind of Europe's fault for promising not to go east and then just totally lying. And you can see, obviously, violence is never the answer, but you can see exactly why Putin's arguing the stuff he's arguing as well. So it's a difficult one, but I think it does end, and I think Trump will be instrumental in that.
well, changing topics again, back to the health stuff, because that's what I'm interested in. I like and also recently everyone's been posting online that they're not paying their taxes. So like in terms of people not relying on, the FDA, like I know Gary's like, oh, I'm just boycotting Whole Foods, Costco, Netflix. People are not really relying on these regulatory industries insofar as like the IRS apparently, which I don't know. That's taking a little bit too far, but
I cannot boycott Netflix because the 5th season of Stranger Things came out, so I can't do it.
I saw this clip on Stranger Things. They were like, well, I was watching it with my kids. I'm not going to give away anything. So I'm not that far ahead. But there was a section, even in Stranger Things, where one of the women who was a mom, or like all the moms were, fawning over this pool kid who was like underage. And they're like, how is this still a thing? Yeah. Oh, and there's some sort of affair, I think, with this underage like boy.
Oh, I don't know, Dana.
Oh, that's like way early. That's like
fantasy, Dana. These are your fantasies.
This is Netflix has to work it in some sort of way. They got to work something weird in for the kid shows.
I mean, listen, the big thing was that Will came out as gay, and we've all seen the clips of that, I assume, at this point, right? But what I appreciated was that the overwhelming backlash from that publicly was like, why do we have to like side tangent down this? Like, it was such an unnecessary side quest that I thought the reaction was finally appropriate on it. I'm curious, Dana. I actually would say that I think Bobby RFK has been my MVP in the Trump administration as far as what he's done to go after. Like, he's been very methodically coming after the vaccine nonsense, after big agriculture and the food poisoning. I see him actually putting points on the board. I think that continues in the coming year, and Bobby Kennedy becomes like the discussion politically around him being a front runner to replace Donald Trump after 2028. To me, JD Vance is an obvious choice. Everybody hear a lot of that. I think Bobby Kennedy is a very serious candidate, and I would go so far as to say, based on the record of what he's done in office, I think Bobby Kennedy becomes a front runner to replace Donald Trump at the top of the ticket.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody pushes JD Vance aside.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
He's very likable, man.
He's definitely very likable.
I'm a fan of Bobby, but he's just hard to listen to, and he's hard for everyone to listen to. Like
everyone, yeah, that's the key. Yeah,
it's just not just me. It's like he's hard with that, whatever that thing is he's got. It's hard to listen to him under strain constantly. It doesn't promote strength. It doesn't promote youth. I mean, he sounds older than Trump most of the time, and I like him, and I like what he's done there, and I agree with you on that. But JD Vance is he's really, in those debates, he was excellent.
If there's ever been somebody who's benefited from being around Donald Trump too, like his sense of humor comes out now. His pushbacks are much.
Yeah, his swag. He's got a lot more swag.
Yeah.
He's got Trump permission.
Yeah, no, he's like trimmed himself up too. Like, he looks good. Don't get me wrong. I think JD Vance is still right there, but I don't know. I see Bobby Kennedy, and maybe I'm biased because I'm a big Bobby fan, but I see him taking on the biggest fights and winning methodically in a way that I think plays really well. So I think we start to see some of those presidential storylines playing out in the coming year too. And we'll be able to tell because the serious contenders will be spreading themselves out in all of these races all over the country. So we'll start seeing their clips and who they're backing. And
Melodrama says that it's beyond me why these guys can't see how JD Vance is corrupt. He's been put there on purpose. He was a nobody. Look at his background.
Yeah.
We didn't say anything about any of that, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, I when JD Vance ran for Senate in Ohio, I was very hard on him. The Palantir connection, the Peter Thiel stuff, the CNN. Anyone coming from CNN at that time was always suspect to me. But I'll say this, he is dramatically of all of the politicians that I voted for or supported and then betrayed me when they got to Washington, he's been the opposite. I thought he was going to go in and do a bunch of bad things. And from what I've seen, his time in the Senate and his time as vice president, he's been nothing but good for the American people. And I base that more on you don't get to rise to that level without having shady connections to a bunch of different power players.
That's right. I think the other thing is Elon comes back in a big way. Back to what Ace was saying. I think Elon comes back. I think he's going to use his checkbook. He's going to use his influence. He's going to use his likability. And he'll go to work like he did in Pennsylvania. And he'll move states that need to be moved.
Oh,
possibly in the midterms, Dustin.
Does he do some America Party stuff? Or
now that's over. That's over. He ran the test on that. He's like that. There's no interest in it.
Pushback was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
What do you think he'll do or require regarding the debt ceiling and how obviously Trump raised that, and how will Elon navigate that in the future, do you think?
I think Elon's going to take the position that we're going to move to a world where there's going to be a tremendous economic boom if everybody would get out of the way. We're going to have another, if he can pull off what he's thinking about pulling off, America will go through an industrial revolution. It will make what we did that made this country great look like nothing. And that would be the thing that would save this, that would extend the S&P 500 thing to numbers that I don't think any of us understand. I know I don't understand how much potential possibility there is in the evolution of phones and gadgets and technology and search and AI and all that. The robot thing is going to happen, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious, do you have how many robots, like full-blown humanoid robots, do we see produced 2026?
I don't know. I don't actually have a clue. I don't know. I've seen a lot of AI stuff. There's obviously a concern about AI slop and AI bubbles because of AI kind of validating itself. I'm in a lot of AI investments, but I would say I'm probably looking to get out of some of those. But yeah, I wouldn't have an idea of. Although I'm very impressed by some of those Chinese robots that Elon tweeted doing the dancing. That was very very impressive indeed. They actually did a good job. I wasn't expecting that at all. How many of those are an issue right now? I don't know. maybe going on those numbers.
So I think we'll see 250,000 robots implemented in the coming year.
Yeah.
I have these two visions in my mind, like the housemaid robot and the military robot. And then I just think of what's going to happen with these armies when they're we're moving towards robotic armies.
How about the silver mining robot?
Right. The work.
No, coal. Right. All of these crazy, dangerous professions are going to be. And the crazy thing, it's not just the safety issue, or we're not going to see people dying or having to work these terrible conditions. The efficiency, right? These robots can essentially run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, doing the same job. So that the upgrade isn't even just no longer with OSHA and with the insurance and the health issues. You also are improving efficiency by triple, at least. I mean, that's the few, and I think we start to see that interaction happening more in our real lives probably in this coming year.
And Dustin, that's all deflationary.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But back to the debt ceiling stuff. Grant, were you hinting more at a big ballsy thing that Trump's going to do? I mean, I'm not saying the rumors on Twitter of getting rid of the debt for a stable coin or something like that. is what's being suggested here. But what sort of things do you think would bring Elon back so that he's working alongside and also bringing down that debt?
I mean, I think Elon's already pivoted to coming back.
Right. Okay.
He's already, like, to be honest, I can tell you for a fact that he's already meeting with Trump again. They're on friendly terms again.
Yeah.
Right? Listen,
Trump forgives everybody. By the way, Trump is immature as he can be. He forgives anyone that helps him move his agenda forward, which is what a businessman does. By the way, my wife can't get over anything. And I'm like, baby, there's a deal now. Okay. She's like, oh, that guy was terrible to you. I'm like, there's a new deal on the table.
Yeah.
So you can compartmentalize that pretty well. You disagree with that. There's no good business deal with a bad person. It's like on a spectrum. Do you think, Grant?
Well, I mean, if he's a bad person, that's a different thing. If he's a criminal, I don't want to do it. But you know, everybody's, whatever. Elon and Trump are already made up.
Yeah.
There was that picture. You reminded me of that picture of them on the plane. Didn't they post something? I think it was like Thanksgiving, and it was a picture of him, Robert Kennedy.
Yeah, that's an AI thing. That's an AI thing.
That I was like, that is.
Speaking of AI taking over,
I know, but the fact that I even looked at it and had the thought for a second, like, wait, what am I looking at?
Oh, so I'll give another. Well, first on the debt ceiling stuff, Ace. Having been in the middle of those fights for all of my adult life, I'll spoiler alert, predict what's going to happen. They're going to be very dramatic about raising it in January. Like, oh my God, and then they're going to fight for a little bit, and then they'll come to an agreement that pushes it past the midterm election.
Okay, yeah. Who were the people who voted against it? Other Republicans who voted against it. I'm trying to remember their names. Was it Nancy and the other guy? I forgot his name.
Mace and Thomas Massey.
Thomas Massey, that's the guy. Yeah.
Yeah. With that said, the Uniparty will rally to raise the debt ceiling, and none of them want it as a political issue when they go back home to their districts. Right. Every member of the House is up for re-election, and so they will come to. This will be the least dramatic of the debt ceiling increases, the one that happens in January, and they'll extend it until after the election so they don't have to deal with it as a campaign. 100% on that. So that's an issue that we could be very confident that, like, they'll make a little noise and some people make some dramatic speeches. And they'll do what they've done every other time, and they'll raise the debt ceiling. Interestingly, though, and so this gets to Dana's point, the kind of the conversation we just had. I think we see a dozen or more elections that have some kind of AI generated scandal. Right? So, like,
oh yeah, I've already been reading about this happening now. It's like the AI that people are adding to the back ends of their companies. It's already automatically reading emails, detecting internal affairs, automatically sending out emails in order to like halt whatever problem that it thinks could be.
Think about how easy it would be to create a fake video or a fake voice recording of a political opponent, turn it into a campaign ad, or get a media blitz around it. And then what are you supposed to do if you're a candidate that happens to? Like, you deny it, right? But by the time you prove that it was AI, right? Like, and again, it'll be business, sexual scandal stuff, right? Like, it'll be there. We'll see this in at least a dozen races where there's some kind of crazy controversy that later turns out to be completely AI generated. So 2026 predictions.
Do you think, like, one of the goals with AI, or one of the comments on it, is that it's actually really good for specialists and not ideal for the generalists, but the generalists? But I actually don't really think that that's the case. I don't believe that.
Why?
I see this everywhere.
No, I can see value for both, but I do feel, as a specialist, and I utilize AI like it's weird. I was just talking to a colleague today how AI does so many things that I used to do that now I'm like, when I have to go back and do it manually, I think to myself, wow, I used to do this stuff all the time. Now I'm so reliant on the AI just taking care of these little tasks for me that it's like, wow, how did all of a sudden, like, it's not that I forgot how to do it. I still know how to do it, but it's like dusting off a bike or something that you haven't ridden in a while. It's like, all right, I got to get these wheels going again. And so I can't imagine someone I'm a doctor. So it's like, I don't trust the AI for anything other than what it is validated across my peers. So that's a specialized knowledge that you can't just come in and know. Just because you know how to use an AI app doesn't mean you know what questions to ask or what's peer-reviewed accepted literature, and you don't have that information. You have to know what questions to ask. So from an expert standpoint, experts know what questions to ask. And so I see the utility of AI from that expert standpoint. But I think you were alluding to, if I'm interpreting it correctly, is the general population can still take tremendous advantage of it, maybe beyond just like creating images. And I like to do that stuff too. Like I have AI that I like to play with, like Midjourney. I like to create images. And so like that's a AI in my life in a hobbyist kind of way. And then I have AI in my life in a very professional way. And I don't think if you're a novice coming into this or a younger person, you're not just going to get into my position using AI. So like that's going to vary across different professionals. And one of the things I hear now is lawyers or, they're going to have a very interesting time moving forward because a lot of it's just paperwork and going through old data and trying to find things to justify your point of view. And now AI can just do this so rapidly. So it's going to take away a lot of like the paralegal aspect of it, which creates a unique challenge because that's how young people get into the workforce. You have to start with those type of jobs to kind of work your way up to that expert level knowledge. But if we don't have that entry level position for younger people to work into, that's where I think, there's room for opportunities for solutions in that regard.
Something I'm using.
Grant had to go, and I know Mr. Melodrama Boy keeps commenting on you.
Yeah, he's asking when I'm going. I do need to go as well. I'm so knackered.
For bedtime, so we'll wrap it up. But I was just thinking about when I was listening, or you can go ahead, Ace. But I just wanted to say before I forgot, have you guys seen that video where it's like, oh, AI is going to take over the world, and then the video is like this AI robot, like the robots that you were actually talking about, Dustin, trying to make like an omelet, and it's just tripping over itself and like falling on the floor and like throwing the pan around. It made me laugh. Okay, Ace, what were you gonna say?
I haven't actually seen that video. I have seen videos where they actually struggle to hold. They can't get weight correctly because if you hold a cup or something, they don't know how to like grip tighter as the cup's being filled. But I was just going to say that an easy way I use AI is in email, but more cold email. But I've also seen on the other end, as you were saying, Dana, earlier, on the defensive end. I mean, we're looking at inbox placement and seeing if things hit the inbox. Google and Microsoft have been using behind the scenes up until about December 19th, because all of our stuff was landing in spam up until then. They were using AI. They were using AI to basically figure out which emails are AI, and then that was stopping certain emails from reaching. And we weren't hitting any spam words or anything like that, but maybe because they knew it was AI generated, that it was blocking it. But yeah, that seems to be fixed now. But yeah, that's the only thing I was adding there.
All right. Well, so let's get some closing predictions. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. I'll give this one. We will continue to crush it on Tuesdays with Cardone debates and doing all that stuff on this one. A incredibly historic, bullish, productive, amazing year for the doers, for people who have the balls to go out and like build stuff, and unbelievable amounts of whining and crying and whinging from the political class and influencers As we have to deal with midterm elections, oh my God, everything. There'll be two distinct realities: people who are benefiting from all of the technology advances of being able to chase your dreams, and people who are terminally online whining about everything, who think the sky is falling. And the reality is, what's out there is better than anything we could have ever hoped for. You have better access to food, to the ability to start business, to go into business, to find places to make money. It's going to be such an incredible year for the people who break free terminally online and whining and thinking they're a victim. And those people are just going to continue to condense and be more annoying and terrible than ever. So go build your dreams.
Oh, already. We're already, Gary. It's already happening. Super ignorant. Yes.
Yeah,
That is
I would
my
like to expand on.
Dustin, I think you're so right about that. The complaining is just going to go up more. Yeah, we have some self-awareness from that.
Because people are going to have so much more built. Again, if you're a doer, you are going to have, you're going to be living the dream, doing everything you want, and the haters are going to be even madder than they were before. It's going to be
Sometimes I'm a mute. Sometimes. I think you're right. Although I do think the attention economy is going to have a bit of a recession too. It's like people are just getting the no. I mean, even Gary's comment the other day on X is like, I'm tired of this. Probably influenced by like what's going on with the market as a whole as well. Like we're all just kind of bored and depressed with the market in the meantime. But
no more sideways chop. Can we just go straight to 180?
Yeah,
I think we're gonna have the sideways chop.
I get it, but it's like more people are going to be doing offline stuff. I think that's my prediction already. Like people are paying 2x to go to the US Open and these like unique experience events. They don't care about Gucci. They don't care about brands anymore. So that's kind of a positive. Money is like easier to make, but like more competition. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know about next year. It's like if you get on the AI bandwagon, you can be an early. You can still be early, which is cool. And I also think like people are not really trusting things anymore. They're thinking for themselves, which is great. So they're taking their health into their own hands, which I really like. And they're treating it like an investment. Like they're treating like their health as an investment because they know like if they're not functional, like nothing really matters. They can't really participate. Dustin is like, you're healthy. You just have a healthy mindset. You can do what you want. Dustin
about health.
Murder.
100%.
Yeah. And people they can't even like every time I get on a plane now too, this is the other thing. It's not even about industries, EPA or whatever. Like they're always delayed. I can't rely on anything, even like to get places on time. So other companies are probably going to start up like like that jet, these like jet sharing companies where you're paying a percentage to like own a percentage of the plane so you can get to where you need to go. Like people are starting to think outside of the box because you quite literally have to. People are going to start growing their own food again. They're going to test their own soil. They're going to know what they're actually eating. Like you can't trust a company long term. It's like, ownership gets swapped out. And then what are you going to do? Spend all your time like researching who you trust? No, people are just going to do stuff themselves and get down to the basics. They're going to hang out more in person, I hope. Yeah, that's what I think.
Preach.
Yeah.
What else do you guys think? Other than my ignorance, what are your predictions?
I think we are gonna. I am more of the belief for this year, maybe not the year after. We will trade sideways, as I suggested, near the top of the market. I think there's a great. Obviously, everyone should be bullish on it, but I think there's still an opportunity to short Bitcoin and MicroStrategy one last time as it comes up to that 200 moving average. I think that's a good. If you were to bet against it, if you were to be devil's advocate. But other than that, then I think I'm still with Dustin that it's not going to be the end. We're going to probably trade sideways. If it does drop, it's going to drop to the previous all-time highs around 60 to 50, maybe the wicks that we saw in August of 24. That'd be my bet. And then privacy coins all the way, basically. And obviously we talked about offshore assets and asset protection as well. Totally awful, that stuff, and privacy coins are up there too.
I get Dana, we gotta get Ace and Look. Like let's go. We're going to print.
Yeah,
Look,
I'll send it to you.
could be insane, but Mark, happy New Year, guys. Ace, pleasure to meet you. Mark,
Pleasure to meet you as well.
on camera.
Can I just do one quick? Can I? Because I wanted my take just for because I came in like Ace. I saw a lot of. I was thinking a sideways move, but Dustin, you really kind of shifted my thinking, and man, I feel super bullish after this. To be honest with you.
Mission accomplished. Let's go.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for
Check out Look. All right. See you guys next Tuesday.
So, yeah, thank you very much. Cheers, all. Lovely to meet you.
Thanks for coming, guys. Everyone follow everybody here. They're cool cats.